All right, welcome, Buff fans, to our latest Buff Zone podcast video. And as you can see, I got a couple of special guests with me. One of the newer Colorado commits, Gage Goldberg, and his father, who some of you might recognize, Bill Goldberg, pro wrestling superstar and former NFL superstar as well. So I want to chat with both of you because Bill, obviously, you played with Deion Sanders, the Colorado Buffaloes head coach, and it's exciting for Gage as well to be committed here to Colorado. And first off, real quick, let me get your emotions from this week. What it's been like just coming up with that decision to commit to Colorado for both of you.
I mean, first of all, it's just crazy. Like, I was seconds away from committing to Alabama, and then Nick Saban left. So that left me in a little pothole. And then he reached out to Dion, and then he gave him another coach's number, and that coach ended up calling us and offering me a PWO. And then I decided to commit on that the same day.
That's awesome. I don't even know where to begin, right? So I mean, obviously I did this whole process like 1,500 years ago when it was myself, and things were completely different. The landscape was different. My situation was different than Gage's. And at the end of the day, as a parent going through it, it's even more stressful and tumultuous because I mean, I've been through it. I want him to prosper. I want him to have as many positive experiences as possible. So in that, with me knowing what I know and who I know, if I could write a movie script and say, this is one of the best situations for my son, not only for opportunities both in and on and off the field, in the classroom, but in addition to football, but moreover, I have a good friend of mine. I'm not going to say watching over Gage, but I mean, he can't help but, oversee him as a dad because of his situation with his kids and our relationship. And I mean, I'm not putting any more stress on Dion because he puts a million, degrees of stress on himself trying to be the best at every single thing he does.
Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, as a parent with so many variables that could go wrong, and I've been there and I've done that, and I was a lot wilder than this little kid. Fortunately, right? So, I mean, but as a parent, you want the scenario to be as many positives as humanly possible, right? And so, hey, man, let's be perfectly honest. I mean, Nick Saban's Nick Saban. I got to play for Vince Dooley. I was lucky enough to play for an icon. They don't come along very often. We had a good relationship with them over there. He loved what Gage did at camp, offered him a PWO. Obviously I went to Georgia. We were toying with that as an option. It kind of changed at the last minute. And then I was here in the garage when Gage called me from school and told me about Saban. And literally our plans completely changed. And as a father, again, this is a long process, and it's a process that determines not only 4 years of a kid's life, but the trajectory of the rest of their life.
Yeah.
I mean, my best friends are still guys I played college football with. And, as famous as a person can get, as rich as somebody can get, they can only do certain things with those with those advantages. Well, none of those advantages could take me back to college football, which was the most fun I ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Right. So I want the experience to be great for him. So taking everything into consideration, an opportunity is all we're asking for. Right. And I wasn't asking Dion for a scholarship. I wasn't asking, for Gage to start. I was asking, for an opportunity, and he got an opportunity, and it's our job to make the best of it. And I again can't sing Dion's praises enough. I saw his mission when he went to Jackson State, and then obviously the transition over to Colorado. I've watched him from afar, but very closely. And I mean, I can't tell you how proud I am of him. because he had a mission. He completed that mission,
Yeah.
and he still every day, furthers the advancement of what he was trying to do in the beginning. And he's succeeding on such high levels every day. What a mentor and what an opportunity.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm like a blowfish, but I'm so happy because the process has been, it's been tough, right? Like I said, it's different. You had COVID, you've got the portal now, you got NIL stuff. It's a shark infested water for these kids, and for him to get this opportunity, a place where we have family, a lot of familiarity, and it's a great program, and you got Dion there. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So Gage, for you, do you look at it the same way? Like, I mean, obviously from a parent, your dad's looking at, okay, this is a great situation because I know Dion, I know he's going to get taken care of. Do you look at it that way, or do you focus because you're young on just the football aspect of it? Because I have kids your age, so I know they kind of focus on here and now, right? How do you see the opportunity?
Yes, sir. Well, I mean, I see it like, well, one, Dion, he's obviously an amazing coach, and he's going to help me excel for the next 4 to 5 years, and maybe hopefully get me to the next level, or just make me a better person throughout this whole process, make me a better teammate. And then he's obviously going to push me, put more muscle on me, get me faster, more football experience. And then, and yeah, the football team is really good too. Like, I mean, we're looking to get in that college football playoff for sure. And I mean, I like where the program's going too.
Yeah. And we mentioned PWO. For those that don't know, it's preferred walk-on. You don't have that scholarship here. Everybody wants that scholarship, but I know, your dad's talking about how tough it is. I mean, scholarships for high school kids are tougher to get now because of the portal. I know you're a 2-sport athlete as well, and you're probably spending some time playing baseball when other kids are at camps and things like that for football. Do you feel like some of those things maybe set you back from being able to get that college scholarship offer?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on this part. Yeah, because this was a big. This was before he answers. This is the problem, right? The problem, and it needs to be addressed. I believe. You got a hell of a 2-sport athlete here. You got a guy who was, the most valuable catcher of the All-State tournament, right? They got third in state. He finished the season 2 days before he went to Alabama camp. He couldn't go to rivals camps and get stars. Yeah. He couldn't get graded. These 2-sport athletes, when it should be an advantage, are at a disadvantage in a day and age when you get 10 scholarships for high school kids and 15 for portal.
Yeah.
So he is a kid that fell through the cracks. And I said this before, and I'm not being cocky about it, but I feel as though I've given these coaches, I'm doing them a favor, because back in the day, if you were good, they'd find me no matter what, because you had coaches traveling the country. They put so many miles, whether it be in a car or whether it be flying. I mean, they did their due diligence. Now it's based on social media, and it's based on, okay, a certain flight here and there, and it's based on analytics, which it's a shame because you get a kid in a small town like where we are, but he's a great athlete, and he just needs opportunity. And that's all I was asking for. And it's nothing more than an opportunity. It's not favoritism by any stretch of the imagination, because if it was favoritism, I would have asked for a scholarship, and I would have asked for him to start. Right. But I just want people to see, I want him to get in a situation to where, because of his surroundings, he will excel to a level that is equal or above what they want. Right. Yeah. And I believe he can do that anywhere. And so we chose to do, and he chose to go to Colorado to do.
Yeah. So Gage, let me flip that around. And maybe you did fall through the cracks as a football recruit, but now you're going to be a 1-sport athlete. You get to focus solely on football. I've talked to so many college coaches that say they love multi-sport athletes because they've been in different environments, they've taken different coaching, things like that. So while maybe you've fallen through the cracks now, do you feel like all that stuff is going to serve you well going forward now?
Yes, sir. 100%. Like, just the difference between both the sports are going to excel me in different ways for sure. Like the different aspects. And then, I mean, playing two sports in high school, it makes you just like a better athlete than some of these people, and it'll just excel you in different ways. And once I get to Colorado and focus on just one sport, I feel like I'm just gonna hit that growth spurt of just playing football in the next like 1 or 2 years, and it's just gonna like be crazy.
Are you going to play baseball this spring?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So how much are you looking forward to that? Just a senior season, be able to you've got your college out of the way now, but now you can focus on just a normal spring, prom, baseball, all that stuff. Are you excited for that?
Yes, sir, I am. We're trying to go for a state championship this year. We got third place last year, and we're trying to go further this year. And then we'll also at the same time, I'm still practicing every day for football, getting ready for Colorado. And then right when that baseball season's over, it's just straight football. And then right when I graduate, I'm going right up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I inquired about him getting out early. We didn't know anything about early graduation. We've spoke to the athletic department and the football guys about getting up there and seeing the grounds and, trying to get as much of an advantage as humanly possible. But again, here we go. And I could have been that Marinovich dad,
yeah,
and said, you're not playing baseball. You're not playing summer ball. Especially leading into your senior season, because you got to concentrate on football. If football is what you want to do, then you're going to be behind the 8 ball. I didn't want to be that guy. And I wanted my kid, because I've been through it, to be a kid as long as humanly possible, because you can't go back and be a kid again. That's the one thing you can't do. So I went against my best, I went against what I thought was the right thing to do. And I softened up a little bit and I let him do his thing, right? But I think in the end, he'll thank me for it. He may have to work a little bit harder to get that scholarship, which he deserves, but it's only a matter of time.
Yeah. And I think there's probably two different right ways to do it, right? And so maybe either way, we've seen both ways work, right? So
yeah, I mean, I had a podcast, Who's Next with Goldberg, 10 years ago, and I had all my NFL buddies, whether it be teammates or whether it be adversaries or whether it be the hot guy, at the moment. I had them all on, and I asked everybody, when are you going to have your kid play football? Right? I didn't let him play until 9th grade. He didn't play football. I didn't let him work out until we moved here to Texas, 5 years ago. But I was of the opinion that you got to let these kids be kids as long as they can, because it's the one thing they can't go back. So,
yeah.
And now he's paying for it. So it's all good. I think he's been a much more well-rounded human being because of his participation in baseball and them excelling to the state finals and him being the catcher and, what he has to do, on the diamond out there. And I mean, it's another good experience for him.
Yeah. And so Gage, you have been a kid, and you're still a kid technically, right? I want to ask you, because you're going to play for a team now that, Deion Sanders is head coach and his kids are on the team. And, Bucky is a little bit older, but he's got his whole family around. And so we've seen close up here what it's like, that having those kids that have the famous father. What's it been like for you, growing up with a father that is very well known?
I mean, it has its ups and downs for sure. Like everyone, so I'll start with downs. Everyone is always constantly doubting you, like doubting your athletic ability. Like, oh my God, okay, well he didn't do good this play, or he didn't do good this drive. Like, okay, he sucks. Like,
you're overcritical.
Yeah.
And I just always have this huge standard that I have to live up to. And I mean, I'm glad to live up to it, for sure. And I try my hardest to do it. And then if it's not maintained, then people just go down on me. But then the good thing about it is I have a legacy already, but then I'm also creating my own legacy, and that lets me set this unreal totem pole for myself to just try to strive for and try to be better than him. And it also feels amazing whenever someone's like, hey, yeah, you suck, you're not that good, and everyone's hating on me and everything, and then I go out on the football field, I kill their team and make the most tackles, make a school record or something. And then it's okay, well, what now? Do I still suck, or what now?
Yeah. So Bill, I want to ask you,
what he's saying is he's made a name for himself, and but he's had a target on his back because of me. So
yeah.
Here's what it is.
So Bill, I want to ask you, because I know you were out of wrestling for about 12 years or so, right? And when you came back, you had talked about how your inspiration was Gage. Why is that? Like, why was he your inspiration to get back into the ring?
I mean, as a dad, you wish that you in your prime would have had, uh, uh, if you're going to have a son, you wish that he would have been around for the best time of your athletic career, the best time, the prime of your success. And I was lucky enough to kind of relive some of that, though it'd be 12 to 15 years later, and it'd be a much different circumstance and much harder. I was very, very lucky, and they gave me the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
And that meant a lot to me. And I just wanted him to see it. He could go on YouTube all the time. And he was growing up and looking at videos, and then he sees me at home, and it's like, that's not the same guy. And I had to show him, right? And so then I had to let him get choked out by Bobby Lashley. And it was cool, like I said, it was just a great opportunity to relive, my heyday and have him be a part of it.
So Gage, I got to ask you, because he mentioned it. You go on YouTube and there's videos of you're in the ring as well. You show up on some of those things. What was that like for you? Not only seeing your dad back in the ring, but jumping in the ring and doing some of those things.
Well, I mean, it was obviously amazing, and like it definitely helped me get more acclimated to the big crowds, and help with like not being nervous. Because like when I was going there before I jumped in the ring at SummerSlam, I was doing my math homework before, and I didn't really care. Like I don't feel like I feel as much pressure as other people do, and like I just go out there and wing it sometimes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how does your dad inspire you as you go through not only your athletic career, but striving to be a good student and earn a degree from CU and all that stuff?
Well, he inspires me, but like, well, he's already done and achieved almost everything a man can do. And like, I want to strive to be that and be even better than that, and like show him like, yeah, I can do that stuff too. And I can excel even more than that too. Yeah. And I'm using his legacy to make my own legacy, and using him as a launch. So
see, and that's another thing, is that he never, throughout any of this process, he never leaned on me for any kind of, hey, will you pick up the phone and call this person? Yeah. Right. And so I abstained from any of that. And I'd let him do all the admissions. I'd let him reach out to all these coaches. As I said, it's a different environment, but I'd let him do it all on his own, so that he knew it was based upon him, not based upon me.
Yeah.
And I'm extremely proud of him just for that alone. And I surely didn't do it in front of Saban, right? Yeah. I didn't have any eligibility left, and I didn't lose 40 years of my life and run out there and do it all. He did it, right? So I'm very proud of the fact that he took it upon himself to be his own man and walk his own path and not lean on me for anything. And then, like I said, at the end, I made a phone call just to make sure that we were making the right decision, and to see if it was an option. And if it was, then we had to weigh the positives with the negatives and compare it and contrast it with every other place that he was looking at. And as a father, if I didn't do that, then I may always regret it. So yeah. There you go.
So I was telling you guys before we started that I've been covering this team so long that David Goldberg was on the team back then, your nephew, and he's from Aspen. So what is the Colorado connection to the Goldberg family? And do you remember when David was playing with the Buffs? Either of you?
Yeah, I remember being there. It was awesome. It was a great experience. Totally different experience. I mean, I played in the SEC, grew up in Oklahoma, around the Sooners and around UT where we live now, but totally different experience. Great college town, beautiful, beautiful place. Our tie is that, my brother lives in Aspen. His 3 kids are within 50 miles, I think, of Boulder. to this day. Obviously, David played there. My brother owns Matsuhisa in Aspen, in Denver, and in Vail. So I mean, the tie is they're there all the time. I mean, it's like a second home, truly is. So it's that played a huge role in the decision.
Yeah. So Gage, you looking forward to playing in front of some family?
Yes, sir, 100%. Because like I got to play in front of them, and I get to start branching out into other parts of the family. And obviously they'll still be there. They'll fly out for the games, and then I'll be able to see Danny, David, and yeah, I'll be able to see everyone.
Yeah,
it'll be awesome.
And so for fans that don't know, one of the connections, you mentioned Deion Sanders being a friend, Bill. It's because you guys played together with the Falcons. And can you talk real quick about that relationship and, how did you guys develop the friendship? He's had a ton of teammates, but how did you guys develop a friendship?
Again, if anybody knows my history in the NFL, I was not a Deion Sanders kind of player. I was more of a scout team walk-on PWO guy, right? But I stayed there because I had a dream and I worked my ass off, and I wouldn't back down to anybody. And I was always at the front of the line, and I did everything that they asked me to do. And my dream was the NFL. So, I mean, that was my bread and butter. That was the only thing I ever aspired to do. Mm-hmm. And here you have Deion Sanders, who's the team, right? And here you got me fighting for a position every single day. But for some reason, we got to be very good friends. And I mean, I like to joke that I used to carry his bags. But I didn't, I was never a guy. I admire people because of what they are, not who they are. Well, at the end, it's who they are also, but not who the stereotype is, not who they are to other people. Jay Leno gave me some advice one time, and it was some of the best advice I've ever been given. And he says, I treat people the way they treat their wait staff. Okay. I was the wait staff. I was. Yeah. And I mean, I could make a joke out of it all I want, but I was the wait staff. And Deion treated me just like anybody else. And oh, by the way, we had wrestling matches in the corner, and anytime they picked him, he'd have me wrestle for him. So then there's that. Then I saved him after he got hit out of bounds and got fined $10,000 for it, which is a very widely known story. But I love the man, and to see what he's done since we left, the Falcons is, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So to know that he could in some way, shape, or form be a part of it, oh my God, really? Yeah. No brainer.
And Gage, for you, and probably for Bill too, it's got to be surreal a little bit that you now get to play with Deion's kids.
Yes, sir, 100%. It's gonna be awesome to be with them, and I mean, it'll be the same. They went through the same pains and aches that I went through during high school, and I feel like it'll create a bond between us, and it'll be cool.
Yeah. So one last thing before we get out of here, last year, I'm sure you guys paid attention a little bit to what was going on at Colorado, and there was a lot of celebrities that were on the sidelines, things like that. Well, one of them was The Rock, and he showed up one time. So I imagine, Bill, you're going to be there as well. So is CU going to have the toughest sideline in college football this offseason or this season?
Well, I'd say that's an absolute understatement. How could it not? I mean, that's a no-brainer. That is an absolute no-brainer. I mean, especially with all the people that he's had in the past, there's no way he can get me off of the sidelines. Especially with this kid there. I mean, that's the only prerequisite that I had with him at any school is that I get a sideline pass.
There you go. Well, awesome. We can't wait to see you guys when you're in Boulder, and I'm sure it'll be fun for all of you to watch, for both of you to watch this or see this experience and see what happens. Right? It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, guys.
You be well. Thank you.